Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Apologies, we did not have the webinar on a Sunday as usual. Due to unforeseen circumstances. That's why the webinar is only hosted this morning at 10 a.m. South African time, which is 8 a.m. GMT. Apologies for that. So we'll resume back to our normal slot. If you'd like to attend the live webinar and interact on this webinar, you can check out the link for the webinars on our website. That is, we host them every Sunday live at 8 a.m. GMT. Then you can attend it live. Right, so our next course starts on the 8th of February. That is in a week. It's actually next week, Monday, the course starts. The course is 10 days long, and we've got video recordings for the whole course. So if you'd like to book for the course, you can do so on the website. You can purchase the course on the website. Just go to our website, elliottwave-principle.com. That's where you'll purchase the course. Then as soon as you get the course, you will receive all the course recordings. So that means you can start watching the course as soon as you make the purchase. Then from the 8th until the 18th, we spend 10 days together going through the theory. Then whatever issues you would have had watching the course, any questions you would have had watching the course, then you can ask during the live course from the 8th. So the timing of the course, we start at 1800 GMT and we run for 10 days, Mondays to Fridays. That's how the course is structured. For the detailed course structure and the modules of the course, you can check it on the website. So what is interesting about the course is that we don't just teach you for 10 days and leave you. You stay in the group for 12 months where you get to attend our live trading room where we apply the course practically live every single day, Mondays to Fridays. During the London session, we've got live trading room sessions. So you'd have the theory on the course, and then you'll have the practical application for the whole year if you've purchased the full course. All right, so that is how the course is structured. And for the rest of our contact details, you can look at that mobile number there. You can follow us on Telegram. That's where you'll also find the link, live webinar links, as well as our Facebook profiles and Twitter profiles. So it's actually interesting here on the Facebook. I didn't mean to show that. So on if you go to my Facebook profile, that is the profile name. You can just check it there. We also have a page there. The page is Trading Waves. You'll find the page here on. You'll find it here. You'll find it here under the description. This is our Facebook page. If you click there, you'll find there. So the reason why I want to show you this is Facebook usually send reminders of your previous posts. So in the last week, there were posts from as far back as 3 years, 4 years that Facebook showed up as a reminder that I've recently posted. So this just shows that once you've got the theory, it just never changes. You can make adjustments and improvements there. So this was a trade from 3 years ago on Euro Audi, 2,000 pips over 1 year. So as you can see, this was straight from TradingView. You can still find this trade on my TradingView profile. So we're focusing that we're going to have a few moves to the downside, and then this was going to make a push to the upside. And exactly how we focused it, it played out over 2,000 pips. Obviously, we don't take this in one trade. It's just it was a long-term focus that we did. 3 years again, this was a pound Audi, 500 pips. You can just go through the page and check out this post. Very interesting, good for learning. If you're still learning the theory, so you can see how we adjust and how we execute the trades. Right, so let's look at this week's analysis. We'll start with the US dollar pairs. Let's start with the US dollar pairs, and I will look at some of our charts on the website here. So this is for members. So once you've a subscribed member, you have access to these charts. We've got weekly, daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour charts every single time. So that means at any given time, you can always just go into the website and check what our forecast is as far as the direction of the market is concerned. Now let's have a look at your Euro US dollar 2 weeks back or 3. We were here and we focused that we're going to have a move like this and we're going to have a move to the downside. So we've adjusted the structure a bit because this doesn't look like it's making a straight line zigzag here. Looks like we're getting a flat here. So this is the forecast now. This is an updated forecast. we're expecting euro US dollar to play out like this, and then we get this move to the downside. You can see we've got an invalidation level there for upside. So if this breaks this low here, then we are going to disqualify this upside. So currently we are in this corrective structure on euro US dollar. And if we just show you quickly the daily, why we're looking at that, this is because we are looking at this structure as a 5-wave move. So we are currently here. That is where you're seeing those 5 waves that we're looking at on euro US dollar. So this is how it's playing out. So currently that's the corrective structure that we're looking at. If you look at that here, that was the previous sell setup that we had. It's a short sell setup, a short-term trade. So we've got 3 waves to the upside. We've got 3 waves down to the downside here. We're expecting another 3 waves like this. Then that will be a flat. And then this one then can continue the drop. And then you will have this one as 3 waves down here as well. So that's a WXY corrective structure in WXY corrective structure in this wave 4. And then we'll expect the upside to resume. So for now, you're still here. You're waiting for this to drop to the downside. Wait for that confirmation first. DXY will be the inverse of what we're looking at on euro US dollar. So just like euro US dollar, we made a move here to the upside, except on euro US dollar, you saw this move was 5 waves. In this case, it is a 3-wave move. Any case, here we are getting a 3-wave pullback, a 3-wave push to the upside. Now, just like euro US dollar, we may get this one pulling down like this, making this as a corrective structure, and we resume upside here. We are still just going sideways here, but it looks like the DXY is going to push to the upside, but just how far will this go before it pushes to the upside? So that is what we need to watch out here on the DXY, as much as we're expecting this move. All right, so that is the DXY and what we're expecting on the euro US dollar. Pound US dollar, we've been looking for a reversal for some time here. Has that reversal happened? So we have been looking at this corrective structure. This move here, the whole move here is a corrective structure. As you can see, there are no 5 waves here. Okay, I showed you an alternative last week where this could be an ending diagonal. But let's have a look at this one. 1, 2, 3 here. So we've got a correction here. You've got a correction here. That correction is preceded by a 3-wave move, 3-wave to the upside. Maybe let me just show the 3 waves here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the correction. 1, 2, 3. I've shown this a couple of times. That's still what we're expecting. 1, 2, 3. Now we've got this last one here. Is this the last 3 waves to the upside? Yes, it does look like pound US dollar is still going to push a little bit higher, and we've got a buy setup here for this move to the upside. You may get this buy setup, but you need to be careful because this has already made such a big move to the upside, and we are at a critical reversal area here, with this being an 11 string move with WX, Y, X, and a Z here. So that is what we're going to be looking at on pound. So still a bit of a push to the upside before the bigger corrective structure happens like that. So that is what we have here on pound US dollar. So internally here, you can label this as WXY. Just need to get the XY in the right place. WXY, just give you a bit more detail. ABC structure here. ABC. You've got here ABC as well. You've got here W, X, and Y. That's the expectation. Now you've got a buy setup for that last bit of a move to complete the Y so that the Y can end in 3 waves here. So that is what you have on pound US dollar. Looking very interesting. US dollar chief, if you look at US dollar chief, we had a trade set up on US dollar chief. We took it prematurely from around this level, has not broken our stop. So when it was here, I was looking at a running flag and I took a trade for the upside here. Looking at this to be doing this with a stop loss just under this level here. And we was looking for this one to push to the upside. Let's just have a look at that trade setup on US dollar chief. Let's just bring it back up here on Slack. And just bring it up on Slack so you can see the reasoning behind it. So this is US dollar chief. Let's have a look at that trade setup on US dollar chief. So US dollar chief, as you can see, we took this one prematurely. Has not gone anywhere for about a week or so, but our stop loss is here. has now made this move, has made a decent flat correction, and has made this move to around this level. Is this going to continue and play out? Very likely that that trade setup is now going to play out. As long as the stop is not hit, we are safe now on the trade setup. So let's just have a look here, what it looks like on the side, the whole structure. That is not US dollar chief. I'm looking for US dollar chief here. Let's get to US dollar chief. So US dollar chief, that is what we have. So we're expecting this move. That is the expected move. So that is why I was trying to buy here, still safe in that trade and should still play out. And looking at the short-term US dollar strength that we see, we'll see this one push to the upside there on US dollar chief. So look out for that one. All right. So there's a possibility that it may not go from current levels, that it can make another 3 waves and then upside. So just be mindful of that if you're not already in the trade. But if you're already in the trade, you just hold and stay safe in the trade. Right, so US dollar CAD may be pushed down by US dollar CAD. Let's have a look at the actual structure here on the side first, so we can get a context of how we are looking at this. Let's get US dollar CAD and see why we are looking for a move to the downside. So there's a bit of a conflict in terms of correlation between US dollar CAD and US dollar chief. We expect them to make the same moves, but in this case, you can see we're focusing downside. So that could be because of the US dollar CAD pushing it to the downside. So we are looking at this, as you can see, we've got this move. We're looking at this as a corrective structure in WXY and looking for this one to drop. Is that going to give us the drop, or is this going to continue here and make a corrective structure and make a bigger structure like that? There is that possibility, but eventually this should be a correction and we should resume the move to the downside on US dollar CAD. Very interesting structures. By interesting, I mean clear structures. So that is US dollar CAD. So look out for this here. If you get any sell set up here, we can look to take it down. Otherwise, if this becomes flat, we can still get one more to the upside. Right, Audi US dollar. So Audi US dollar, last week we have said that this is making a corrective structure, and I was looking for it to come down to the lower boundary. Yes, we came down to the lower boundary, came back down, come back up here. We're still making what looks like a corrective structure here. So we may still see Audi US dollar make a push to the downside. What we need to understand is what kind of corrective structure is happening here. Okay, so what we're seeing here is that we've got a flat here, and this could be a move here, excuse me, and this could be another corrective structure here before we make a move to the upside. That will be a WXY corrective structure. So that means a flat and a zigzag combined before we get a move to the upside. Or instead, as you can see, in terms of degree, this may be a bit too small compared to that. So we may be looking at this one to make 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to the upside and make a structure like this. Maybe another flat, that will still be a WXY corrective structure. So for now, we're still going a bit sideways, but what we're actually waiting for is this corrective structure to complete. Is it going to complete as a combination? Let's watch and see how this one is going to play out. New Zealand US dollar. So New Zealand US dollar has made a 3-wave pullback here, has made another 3-wave push to the upside. This is where we were last week. We expected to get another 3 waves like that. As you can see, that is playing out so far. We've got a move down, we've got a pullback. Is New Zealand going to make a push to the downside so we can get the structure that we expected? So it is playing out. So already one move in, another second one in. So we'll be looking for New Zealand US dollar to do this before any resumption of the move to the upside. Right, so that is New Zealand US dollar. US dollar ZAR. So US dollar ZAR has not taken off after this 3-wave corrective structure. We've got a pulsing move here, and we had this corrective structure that is an ABC correction zigzag here, simple. We're looking for this one to push to the upside back to this level, but we know the market does not move in a straight line. So what looks to be happening here is that this is a 3-wave structure, and we're going to go to that level. So we could be having a WX, and at this level, Y, and then a move to the upside. Either a WXY structure or an ABC structure, depending on how this plays out. So watch out US dollar ZAR for a move to the upside. So this is the structure here. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we could be looking for this one to come retest this top here on US dollar ZAR. Pound yen. Pound yen keeps pushing up higher, and our structure is as follows. We are at a critical level on pound yen. We may still drop. So this is the bigger corrective structure in the middle here. We've got 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this one to be a possible 1, 2, 3 here as well. Is this a running flat possibly? And we've got this one as ABC corrective structure. If that is the case, it looks like we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're still going to see pound push up higher here because we've got here internally, we've got A, B, C. Here we've got an A, B, C corrective structure. And here we've got, let's have a look here. It's also another A, B, C corrective structure. A, B, C. Right, so the bigger structure is WXY here. We'll be looking for this to make a push to the upside. Any correction here, slight push back to the 45 level, possibly on pound yen, still pushing to the upside. Watch out for that. US dollar yen, we also had, now US dollar yen was a very interesting one. This is what happened with US dollar yen. It was a similar trade as a US dollar chief. We're looking for this one to push up higher after it has made a correction and then upside here. It just broke our stop and then took off. That happens in trading. Look at this here. I'm going to show you the trade setup. So this is the candle that took our stop out before we took off. This would have been a very nice trade here. So this is what we had here on US dollar yen. So this is happening. This happens. It's part of trading. When trading, practically, you should expect this to happen. So we had a bit of a tighter stop. We prefer a tighter stop, obviously, because our indicator gives us execution. So execution levels. So this is US dollar yen. As you can see, we continued with this correction, broke here, and then we took off for that profit. Right, so it's a missed trade that happens, but we know the direction for that. Let's have a look here where this is going now. This will continue to the upside, and I'll show you the chart here why we expect it to continue to the upside. In the next coming sessions, this should be continuing from here. We should see another push to the upside. I'm going to see that, and then reversal. Let's have a look here at what we are focusing on our charts. Let's go to the yen pairs. US dollar yen, let's look at the 4 hour. So this is why we're looking at US dollar yen, and this is why we are tempted to buy it here. So I attempted to buy here, took a stop out, then upside. We're going to wait for another entry, a decent entry. It looks like we're getting this one here, and then we're going to be looking for upside here. Correction here, we're going to continue to the upside. We're starting this move on US dollar yen. Very interesting setups for the week. Euro yen. Okay, so Euro yen has made a push to the upside. As I've said last week, Chief yen has got a better structure than Euro yen, and it has played out that structure that we were expecting. So this is what we expected of Chief yen. 3 waves down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. So we're looking at that as a flat correction. As you can see, let's remove all these lines here. So this is the flat correction, perfect flat correction that we looked at when we were here last week. Last week we were here. We expected a corrective structure and then continuation to the upside. So it made a pullback to the 50%, that's fine. And it makes another 3 waves to the upside. So what is happening here? We may be getting another move like that. So we've got 3 waves down here, 3 waves up and 3 waves down. This makes a whole flat correction. Are we getting this whole move as a WX, and are we going to get another 3 waves down here? There's a possibility we get something like that here, and then we get this one around here. So you're looking for downside here, short term. So, but you need to be careful here. You need to get confirmation, or use whichever strategy you use to get your confirmations, because this pullback here, if you're wrong about the structure, can be doing this. Could be doing a pullback and push to the upside. If that happens, that means this is all a correction and this is ready to continue to the upside. So we need to wait for that confirmation there, okay, before we rush in for a sell. So Euro yen, as I've said, Chief has got a better structure than Euro yen, so we will follow the Chief structure. So let's wait for a move here, a corrective structure here, a confirmation here. Are we going to get a drop from Euro yen? Because it has also made what looks like an expanding flat here and another 3 waves to the upside. We can actually make 3 waves down here and make this corrective structure. Is this what we're going to get, or is this going to be a continuation pattern to the upside? So we're going to have to wait for this confirmation here on both. So sit on your hands until we get that confirmation on those. CAD yen, we had a trade set up from here. I'm not going to go through that. We sold CAD yen from around this level, drops around this level, and then it's pushed up to the upside. So we're looking at this corrective structure. We've got a move to the upside in 3 waves. We're going to get another 3 waves to the upside here. Watch out for continuation to the upside on CAD yen. Okay, so that is on the 4 hour. On CAD yen, we're still looking for it will still be a continuation pattern to the upside. Okay, we're even looking for these to first do this move before pushing up higher, but it looks like we're just getting to get a continuation pattern to the upside here. So watch out to get a confirmation for a trade execution to continue to the upside, because you can also have this here, 1, 2, 3, and then upside. So you can have one more down for about 100 pips down before it takes off. So watch out for a trade here. That is CAD yen, New Zealand yen. So New Zealand yen, let's have a look at New Zealand yen on the 4 hour. So New Zealand yen, you remember the structure on New Zealand US dollar. New Zealand US dollar is doing this. It has done 1, 2, 3 down. Here we've got a 1, 2, 3 down. We're expecting that it was going to do the same structure here like that. And it's not done that. It looks like it is making a similar structure though, but bigger. That means flat. So is New Zealand going to retest the low here with 3 waves before we make a push to the upside? As we are expecting of New Zealand US dollar to the move to the downside, we need to wait for that confirmation, because that is the likely move that could happen here. We could be getting this to come down here. Otherwise, if you don't get that, and then if this starts getting corrective, we're going to adjust the structure. That is New Zealand yen, Audi yen. Audi yen, 3 waves down here, as you can see. Looks like we've got another 3 waves to the upside on Audi yen, and we may be getting another 3 waves down, just like we're expecting on New Zealand and Audi, on New Zealand yen and New Zealand US dollar. So this could be a WXY corrective structure. Let's watch out for this, and it could be a nice corrective structure to resume upside. Okay, that is Audi and New Zealand yen. Let's have a look at gold. Gold, very interesting structures playing out now. Last week, this is where we were on gold. We had made 3 waves to the upside. I'm going to go to the bigger structure. Let's just focus on the smaller one here. We had a pullback here, and we're expecting gold to give us an ABC corrective structure. Has that view changed? It has not changed at all. It just means gold has gone sideways and is making what looks like a flat correction here. Okay, so if that is a flat correction, that means you've got 3 waves up, and you've got here another 3 waves to the side. 1, 2, 3. We could be coming down here. We could then get another move here in 3 waves on gold before we drop. Eventually, we're looking for that one or last drop on gold before we push to the upside. Okay, let's have a look at the bigger structure on gold. Let's see the whole move here. So you can see this structure and why we're expecting this to continue to the downside. We're still looking at this as 3 waves down. These are 3 waves down. This is a 3-wave pullback, and this is a move to the downside. So with gold, we could be looking at this to be, the structure may change a bit. So let me just show the original structure, WX, and looking at this whole move as a Y. So our Y is going to be these 3 waves, A, B, and a C. So that means a zigzag here in combination with a flat. So we will be looking for gold after making this structure here to come down to complete this move. So that's where we are with gold. We are within this corrective structure. Is that going to drop first, and then we'll make a move to the upside? You can also make this structure here on gold, which will not change the bias at all. We could have this one as 3 waves. This one is a pullback, and we can get another 3 waves, but that's going to be a terribly bigger structure than what we're expecting. So I'm not going to look at this structure as yet. So this will be a W and X. This one will have to be a similar size as the W. So that means much bigger. So that structure we're not going to look at for now. We're going to stick with the first bias. So we're looking for this one to do that, and then a drop. That is gold, silver. So silver, we were looking for these to do that. Structures 3 waves down here, and we were looking at this as also having made a 3 waves, and then we're going to look for downside. So it looks like we still have these as 3 waves to the upside, 3 waves back, and this is our 3 waves here. So you've got here as 1, 2, 3, pull back here in 1, 2, 3, and then you put 1, 2, and then a 3 here on the silver, 1, 2, 3. So is that a move that we're expecting on silver? WX, are we going to get one more down? That is what we'll be looking at if we start getting the pullback here on silver. this move to the downside will only be invalidated if we break out of this and start correcting above this level. That's what we have on silver. Let's see how this is going to play out. Right. Very interesting structure for the next week. Hope we make money. Brent crude. So Brent crude oil, we're currently in this corrective structure. I've been calling for 60 for a while. Let me just show you the chart, show why we're expecting 60 on Brent crude. This is supposed to be the wave 4 of on silver. Let's have a look at the chart. Commodities, silver, not silver, I'm looking for Brent crude. Brent crude, oil. So that is the structure, that is what we're looking at on oil. We're looking at this to be a wave 4 and then a push to the upside. So whatever is happening here in this corrective structure is for us to get the last move of the wave 5, which we are forecasting to end around $60 per barrel on Brent crude oil. Those are the commodities. Let's now move into the pound pairs. Pound chief. Now, pound chief, just like pound US dollar, we wanted to get a one more move to the downside, about 400 pip drop before resuming a move to the upside. So we've got a 3-wave structure, just like we've got on pound US dollar. Is that got the end of the move? Still going to push a little bit higher to complete this move, and then we get this to the downside. So we've got this corrective structure from April last year. This is the corrective structure that we're looking at. If this corrective structure completes, look at it now. If this corrective structure completes, then we should see a resumption of the move to the upside on this pair here. So we've got a move to the upside, and this. So this is our move to the upside, and we could be looking at this as 1, 2, 3, which is a W. X. Is this a Y? If this is a Y, that means the correction has ended, and this move to the upside has already resumed. How are we going to know if the move to the upside has resumed? If we start getting confirmation of a trade here, we're going to look at it here like that. If we start getting a drop here, we don't have a trade execution here at this stage. If you get confirmation for a sell setup, we're going to take that back to this level, and it's going to slightly change the structure. We'll adjust that structure if this happens, because that is the expectation as well. Pound, that is pound chief, pound CAD. Similar structure on pound CAD. You can see we've got this corrective structure here on the 4-hour, also from the start of March last year up to this stage. We've got a 3-wave move up here on pound CAD. So if you look at this, this is an A, B, and this C is 5 waves. It looks like we've got 4 wave 4 here, and we're still going to get the last wave here to make the C here. So we're still going to push a little bit higher, possibly back to this level here on pound CAD. So we're looking at these 3 waves. Great. That is pound CAD, pound Audi. Pound Audi has made a very strong impulse that looks like a flat correction. We've got a pulsing move to the upside, 3 waves down, pull back around that move, which looks like an expanding flat. I'm going to start seeing this one to the downside. That move to the downside will only be validated if we start seeing a continuation pattern at current levels. Otherwise, you can even have this structure here. You can even have this structure. But overall, the theme here on pound Audi, the bias is still to the downside on pound Audi. So that's why we're expecting this. So even if it does make a bigger corrective structure here, we'll still expect downside when that move is complete. That is pound Audi. Pound New Zealand. Same. Is this going to be our flat? And then we start seeing downside. So it's critical. We're at a critical level to get that confirmation here. Is this a continuation pattern for downside? We start looking for downside on pound New Zealand and pound Audi. Euro pound. So if the pound pairs are going to give us the pullbacks, we're going to expect euro pound to give us a bit of a move to the upside here. Just 1 second. Right. So if we're going to expect these short-term moves to the downside on the pound pairs, those that are the base pairs, on instruments that have got the pound as the base, if we're expecting a pullback there, we'll expect a bit of a move to the upside here in 3 waves on euro pound. All right, so that is the expectation here. It looks like we're going to have a move to the upside. Let's look at divergence on the RSI. We have divergence here. We had some divergence. We still have some divergence, but that divergence may be invalidated. How do you invalidate divergence? It is making lower high or higher lows. If this makes a new low here, that means you don't have divergence. That means price and the RSI are doing exactly the same thing. So that will make a move to the upside. We're just looking at only the RSI here to see how this is going to play out. Right, so that is a euro pound, euro Audi. Euro Audi, just like pound Audi, we may have ended the 3-wave correction here, and we start looking for this one to make a move to the downside. We are bearish to the downside for the long term on euro Audi. Okay, so if euro Audi is going to continue to the downside, that means Audi will resume its strength to the upside. Same as euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, we also had a trade set up here. I'm on the 4-hour here. We had this short trade set up here where we took advantage of this short trade here before pushing to the upside. So we're still looking for downside on euro Audi. Having made this flat here, 1, 2, 3, we're looking for this one to give us continuation patterns to the downside. That is euro New Zealand, euro CAD. 3-wave pullback, we may be seeing a move to the downside on euro CAD. Watch out for this to come around this level. Okay, not yet confirmed on euro CAD. We're going to have to wait a bit on that. Euro Chief. So euro Chief, if you remember last week, we were here. Because before we broke this level here last week, we said it's going to break and push back to the upside. We have now done exactly as expected, 1, 2, and a 3. Are we ready to see euro Chief drop? Let's see how this is going to play out. If that's just a 3-wave structure, we will see euro Chief drop. Let's go to the cross pairs, Audi, New Zealand. The continuation pattern here, made a running flat. Still expect continuation to the downside to complete that structure. Nothing has changed there. Audi CAD. Audi CAD is making a correction, just like Audi US dollar is making the corrective structure here. That's the corrective structure we are looking at here. So we have made 1, 2, 3 waves here. We also made another 1, 2, 3 waves here. So we're seeing Audi CAD make this structure. We should see another pullback to make another corrective structure as follows. Then we'll look for resumption of the move to the upside when the Audi resumes the strength to the upside. Audi Chief, you can see the Audi pairs are all correcting. We've got what looks like a 3-wave structure here. This looks like a flat. Let's just have a look at it like this. So we've got this as a 3-wave down here, but this looks like it's still going to continue to the downside. Let's see how this is going to play out. We'll be watching the structure to resume to the upside when this is complete. So we've got deeper pullbacks on all the Audi pairs, Audi New Zealand, Audi CAD, Audi Chief, Audi US dollar, Audi yen. All of them showing us upside. New Zealand CAD, after a resumption of this move to the upside, looks like we're making a flat, and we're going to see this one come retest the top here. New Zealand Chief. So the New Zealand pairs, you can see they're doing exactly the same thing. 3 waves down, 3 waves up. This one makes a move to the downside. We're expecting this to do this, just like New Zealand US dollar, but this one has already made a move to the upside. Let's see if this is going to happen. Or if that does not happen, we're just looking at this structure like this. Where this is going to be all the corrective structure here before a resumption of the move to the upside. CAD Chief. CAD Chief, we had a sell setup here last week. Sold this pair here. Made 3 waves to the downside and now has resumed the move to the upside. A continuation pattern here. We're going to see this resume higher. Okay, so that is CAD Chief. So CAD Chief, we've got this long-term corrective structure here, also from around July last year. That's the structure here. That's the structure there. So we've got what looks like 3 waves here. We may be making another 3 waves here. Or this may have been made a running flat. Let's clean it up here. Let's remove all these lines so we can only look at the structure. So if this is the case, that means we've got this as 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, and you're going to see a move to the upside in another 3 waves to go complete the WA. We are already here, so that means an entry to the upside is a decent trade for upside. Let's look at the indices. Right, so the indices, we may be getting pullbacks here. So this structure may be just the wave one way to complete the facts. Let's just have a look at the structures here. Let's go to the indices and look at the charts. S&P 500 for hour. So this may have just made a leading diagonal, and whatever we're getting here is a pullback for the wave two, and we're still going to see further upside to complete this wave five. So we could be having an extended wave five here on the indices. So let's watch how this goes here. We've got a pullback now currently. We may be doing this and then upside on the S&P 500. Let's look at the rest here. S&P 500, the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, we're looking at this as 5 waves from here. So whatever pullback we're getting here will be a wave 4, and we'll look for this to resume up when the correction is done. That is the Nasdaq. And the Dow, similar to the S&P 500, starts with what looks like a leading diagonal in wave 1. Any 3-wave pullback can result in a resumption of the move to the upside to complete that wave 5. So the indices have got all similar structures. UK 100, we are busy making this corrective structure. Is this going to be an expanding flat or a running flat and then we resume to the upside, or has this move ended? We're going to have to watch that. Let's have a look here on the UK 100. So the UK 100. So 2 things here. We have to confirm that this move has ended. If this move has ended, we will see by getting confirmation here to the downside. Otherwise, we could just be making this pullback here. This one being expanding flat, and then we'll see upside. So that will be a 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, and 1, 2, 3 up before we resume to the downside. So let's watch current levels on the UK 100. The DAX also pulling back in what looks like a wave 4, could be a little bit deeper and do this before we make a push to the upside. That is the DAX. Nikkei. Let's look at the Nikkei as well. Okay, here's the DAX graph chart here. Looking for these 3 waves. It's just to show you the perspective while we're looking for that upside so you can see the structure. And the Nikkei for hour, also making a pullback in what looks like this internal wave 5 to complete this 5 waves to the upside. That is the Nikkei. And lastly, Nifty, which is not listed on our side, but we'll look at it. So the Nifty has made a pullback already. It looks like it is also already resuming a move to the upside. All right, so that's what we have on the Nifty. And that concludes all the Forex pairs and the indices. Watch out for the next webinar on cryptocurrencies, which will be starting in the next 5 minutes. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for watching. Trade responsibly. Please don't forget to hit that notification button, drop us a like, drop us a comment, so that this video can go to as many people as possible. Cheers, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.